how do you get 2 million users on an app? Like, that has to cost so much money. Okay, getting distribution, acquiring customers is really hard. But then, like you just said, how do you keep them?
That's right.
Because there's so many other things that are distracting them.
That's right. Everything's fighting for your focus. And people open their phone like 52 times a day. So it's really hard. You got to have high quality content. You got to have an incredible product that's very snappy. You also have to be very secure. AI is lowering the barrier to entry on everything. So there's not as much upfront costs, but you still have all of the hard work that you need to do, testing and iterating over time to keep people engaged.
You've raised capital.
Yep.
You guys have gotten funding and all this stuff. So at some point, you got to get investors a return.
We raised venture capital, strategic capital, high net worth, all that good stuff. People that believe in us, but the people that invested in us knew from the very beginning, this is margin and mission.
Yep.
It's profit and purpose. It has to be both. And the way that we built the company is we wanted it to be a 200-year plan, not a 5-year plan.
All right, Matt, so you're a serial entrepreneur. You founded Homestack and most recently Pray.com, where you guys already have 25 million downloads, the 2 million active users, the biggest praying app like in the world.
Yeah.
How did you even come up with these ideas?
Well, we reach around 7 million people a day, which is pretty remarkable. We started in July 7th, 2016. But Ryan, for me, it all started with a 15-year-old girl who was pregnant walking down the street to an abortion clinic. And she stopped in at a church on her way there and asked the pastor about the biggest decision she was going to make in her life up to that point. And the pastor connected her with a pastor in Los Angeles who planted a small church. And the pastor in Los Angeles said, it's Providence. You just called me today. I'm counseling this married couple who's been trying to have children for 10 years and couldn't. Why don't you ask the girl if she'd be willing to give her baby up for adoption? And I was the baby the girl brought into the church, and I got adopted because of these two pastors that were friends.
Wow.
And my dad became the head elder of our little church, and now it's one of the largest churches in Los Angeles. We reach about 15,000 people a weekend.
Yeah.
And that kind of kicked off Providence in my life. And God taking care of me from the very beginning. I got the really unique opportunity my sophomore year of high school to meet Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs is also adopted. And my family was really, really good at sports, Ryan. I am not great at sports. We went golfing. I'm not great at it.
That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah.
And, but I was really good with technology. And so hearing that Steve Jobs was adopted, getting to meet him really inspired me to get into tech. So my senior year of college, when Steve Jobs launched the App Store, I dropped out of college and started a company called Homestack that builds apps for all the major real estate companies in the United States. We built over 10,000 apps in the App Store. And it was super fun. It was great helping people find their dream home. But I felt like I lost my purpose 10 years in. I felt the need. God was tugging on my heart to help and give back and do something with a bigger purpose. So I called my pastor, asked him how I could help and give back to my church. And the very next day, I ran into Steve Gattina, my co-founder in Pray.com. And Steve had just lost his business partner in a plane crash in Medellin, Colombia. And he just became a Christian. And he wanted to build the ESPN for Christians, is the way he described it. And we providentially ran into each other at this coffee shop. And he told me how his business partner died and how he wanted to build Pray.com, the ESPN for Christians. And I said, Steve, you don't know what Providence means yet, but this is Providence. I just called my pastor yesterday on how I could help and give back.
How would you define Providence for anyone listening that doesn't know what it means?
Yeah, I would define Providence as a God-given opportunity or a God-given meeting, a divine appointment.
Right.
It's not random, God set that appointment. And so that's how I would define Providence.
Okay. So you're like, all right, well, I guess we're going to create ESPN for Christians.
Yeah, that's right. And that's how we started. It was, we're going to build the digital destination for Christians online. No one had built it before.
How long ago was this?
This was July 7th, 2016.
Okay, so almost a decade ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did it progress from there? I mean, obviously today I said the stats, but you know, it's a big undertaking.
Oh,
Do you have to raise money? Like, how did all that go about?
yeah, massive. And so we actually have there's four co-founders. Mike Lynn's our CFO. Ryan Beck is our CTO. They have incredible stories and backgrounds. But we started off by doing something called the mom test. We interviewed a bunch of our customers, which are pastors, at different conferences, and we asked them questions about what we should build. And so we started building the app and growing it into a prayer wall of communities where people could post prayers and prayer requests, and they could get different content from their pastors, as well as we started creating our own content. But the app was very, very small. There was four of us in a broom closet in Santa Monica burning the midnight oil and trying to grow the company.
Mm. And I mean, just what's it been like the last 9 years? I mean, today you guys have so much content out there for like what actually let's just even take a step back. Today, if somebody goes to pray.com, which they can just get on the app store, what's on it?
Yeah, on pray.com, we've got the top 100 pastors in the United States, daily devotionals, guided prayers, mental and spiritual health content that helps people. We've hired a science research team to do 3 clinical trials on the efficacy of prayer on your mental health, and we've created content programming for that in the app. So there's a lot of different incredible pieces of content. Max Barden, our content team, has hired a 61-piece orchestra, former Disney voice actors and actresses. We've brought the Bible to life in 3 different versions: a version that helps you fall asleep at night, a cinematic audio version where we bring all your Bible stories to life, and then also an incredible kids version of that content. So we have over 5,000 pieces of high quality cinematic audio content.
And how does it work with uh I know there's free versions, paid versions, like how does that work?
Yeah, so we would say freemium, right? You can use the free version of the app, and there's advertising from different advertisers, and then you can subscribe to remove advertising in the app.
Got it.
Yeah,
So the content's the same, it's just whether you want ads or not.
exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
you nailed it.
So with that, I mean, that's where you guys are at today. Um, I kind of get how it started,
Yeah.
just you have this divine appointment with Steve. And then now for the last almost decade, you guys have been building this together. Um, I mean, what are some of the things that you've seen along the way?
Yeah, I mean, and that divine appointment was also with Ryan and Mike. Mike had an incredible career at Merrill Lynch. He was in private banking, managing like $750 million assets under management. And Ryan actually went to jail. He was the biggest drug dealer in our neighborhood and became a Christian in jail and got out and started helping nonprofits because a church gave him as a job as the facilities manager of that church. And then got his computer science degree and started helping out nonprofits with their programming and their back end systems and their websites and all that good stuff. And so, um, really, what I've seen is the unscalable things work. You don't have to think about scale in the very beginning. And the reason I know that is because I did it. Our first 100,000 users, I got manually on the platform. I flew all over the country, meeting with different churches,
Whoa.
signing people up to get on the app. And I think a lot of people think, oh, I need giant Facebook marketing campaigns or billboards or TV commercials. And no, you start small, you get your first 1,000 users, then you get your first 100,000 users, and then you can start pouring gasoline on a fire that you started. But the hardest thing is starting the fire.
Yeah. So you were really grassroots.
Oh yeah.
How long did it take to get the first 100,000 users?
It took probably 2 years of testing and getting the product right and traveling all over the United States, speaking at different churches, different conferences to get the first 100,000 people through the platform. And at the same time, you're building the platform too, because it's a multi-tenant marketplace, right? And so you're building for users, for people that are going to be consuming content, and then you're also building for content creators too that are adding content to the app. And so you kind of have to switch back and forth, focusing on one or the other. And so it took about 2 years for those first 100,000 users.
Yeah. And I mean, there's probably a lot of people here who have thought about, man, I want to start an app, AI, all this stuff. And
Yeah.
everybody has like lots of good ideas, right? But then I always look at it and I'm like, man, I mean, there's two massive hurdles. I mean, one is actually creating a good product,
Yep.
and then two is getting users.
Yeah.
Like to me, which one was harder?
Yeah, I would say, look, they're all equally hard,
Yeah.
but AI has made it very easy for people to create a MVP, or we like to call it minimum lovable product,
Yeah.
much faster,
Right.
right? But
Anyone can create an app now.
that's right. Anybody can. There's plenty of places out there where you can be a prompt engineer and build something. Will it have a bunch of security holes? Who knows? But there's a lot of people who can get a minimum lovable product out there.
Yeah.
But to your point, look, distribution is now everything, and audience is everything. And building something that people actually love and come back to is very, very hard.
Yeah.
Like getting the first version out the barrier to entry has been lowered extremely because of AI.
Yeah. I was talking to, one of my companies is called M19. And so we have all these high level entrepreneurs who, we all golf together and go on bucket list golf trips and stuff. And that's why we golf together. And we were actually talking about the business model and stuff on the golf course.
Yeah.
But one of the guys owns an AI business. And so I was like, bro, I want you to talk to the whole group and tell us about what's coming, because every business owner wants to know. And he basically said the same thing. He goes, yeah, I mean, it used to be really hard to go create an app and, do all these things. You needed to hire all these people, invest all this money, but now anybody can create it pretty quickly with very little budget. And he goes, the main key at this point is distribution.
Yep.
And I kind of have looked at that and I'm like, yeah, dude, like, how do you get 2 million users on an app? Like, that has to cost so much money.
Yep.
Like, what is the customer acquisition cost to get that many people? And then, to your next point, okay, you create the product. Okay, that's easier to create now. Okay, getting distribution, acquiring customers is really hard. But then, like you just said, how do you keep them?
That's right.
Because there's so many other things that are distracting them.
That's right. Everything's fighting for your focus. And people open their phone like 52 times a day, I think is like the
That seems
average right now. Yeah, it's probably higher.
Yeah.
The last time I looked, it was 52 times, and we're 2 of the 52 right now per day.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard. You got to have high quality content. You got to have an incredible product that's very snappy. You also have to be very secure. And it takes a team of people to do. Like we talked about, AI is lowering the barrier to entry on everything. So there's not as much upfront costs, but you still have all of the hard work that you need to do, testing and iterating over time to keep people engaged, all of the content that you need to make. It's becoming less cost to do,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean that you can create lower quality content. You still have to create high quality content as well.
Yeah, because your whole platform's just built on creating great content.
Creating, yeah, high quality content, which is why we've got, one of the best, VPs of content out there, Max Bard, who has an amazing team of people that are constantly innovating
Yeah.
in like content types, formats, and how we make incredible cinematic Marvel universe of the Bible
Right.
in pray.com.
And it's not just, in pray.com, because I was, golfing with Max too. And it's like, you guys are creating YouTube channels and all these other things too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're creating content properties everywhere, right? You got to be ubiquitous, right?
Would you
gotta
consider
be,
yourself a media company? Like, how would you define it?
yeah, we're definitely a tech company that is really good at media, but we are a tech company because we own the audience, we have the distribution in pray.com, and we distribute content other places, all with the idea of driving people into the application and the website.
Right.
So we are definitely a tech company.
Okay. So with that too, this is something I've been thinking about a lot, right? Because you've raised capital, you
Yep.
guys have gotten funding and all this stuff. So at some point you got to get investors a return.
Yeah.
So what does the plan look like for you guys?
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, we raised venture capital, strategic capital, high
Yeah.
net worths, all that good stuff. People that believe in us, but the people that invested in us knew from the very beginning this is margin and mission.
Yep.
It's profit and purpose. It has to be both. And the way that we built the company is we wanted it to be a 200-year plan, not a 5-year plan. And so when you're thinking on longer timelines, it looks a little bit different. But the way that we provide a return, it's always got to be a win-win-win. It's got
Yeah.
to be a win for the content creators, a win for the consumers, and a win for Prey.com. And so the way we evaluate different business models or different ways that we generate revenue through Prey.com, we look at it from that framework.
Right.
And, having a subscription, it works perfectly for the company, it works perfectly for our content creators because when they select different content creators, we call them pastors to
Yeah.
follow. A portion of the subscription gets donated to those pastors,
Right.
and they can grow their content libraries on content that we would never step into on different lanes like apologetics content or several different other types of content that we would not go into because it's so niche, right?
Right. So this is something I've thought a lot about. I have a nonprofit, Tentmakers, and it's for Christian business owners. And the main mission is make disciples in the marketplace. And
Yeah.
so we do that through launching small groups every single week all across the world. Then we do live events and all this stuff. And so right now, it just funds purely from donations and all that. And recently, I've been thinking about. I'm not going to say what the idea is. I just told you guys off camera, but I've been thinking about an idea of like, man, I want to build a business that can fund it even more, right?
Mhm.
Like donations are one thing, but I want to build a business that could fund it even more. And then as I was thinking through the business, I'm like, dude, if I build this business, this is like not an easy endeavor. It's going to be like a business.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm gonna have to like market it, work at it, promote it. And I'm like, man, at that point, now it's like, cause it would be like a for-profit business that takes profits and gives them to tent makers. And then I started to I started to feel a different way. I was like, man, do I want to monetize Christianity? Like, how do I feel about that in a for-profit business?
Mhm.
Because I've only done nonprofit stuff, Christianity wise. Um, but then again, like I started to think about it. I'm just sharing it all like on air. And I was like, well, I talk about faith all the time and just free normal content. And then there are people who do business with me in my for-profit things because I talk about faith. Now, I'm not like selling a faith-based product,
Yeah.
but the result ends up being the same. So I'm just like curious if you guys have ever experienced that, I don't know, inner conflict of like, okay, we are a faith-based for-profit, product. And how do you see that?
Yeah, the conflict would be normal in a normal situation, but we kind of face it head on with margin and mission, profit and purpose. And it's enabled us to get into places that Christian nonprofits can't get into. There's certain countries in the world that don't want to work with any Christian nonprofits. Whereas if you're a for-profit organization, even if it is backed by Christian content, they are more than happy to work with, which is very interesting. So it's enabled us to get into more places in the world than a lot of Christian nonprofits. And, when you're a for profit company, you have a standard of excellence and quality that you have to hit for your audience to keep your audience. And that has helped us raise the bar, in my opinion, when it comes to things that have a Christian label on them. Because I think a lot of things are done with volunteers or they're done subpar. Like when you put a Christian label on something, you think, oh, it could be lower quality or lower excellence.
Yeah.
Whereas when we make this a for-profit company, we're reliant on people to fund the mission and the margin, right? And so that just helps us raise the bar when it comes to excellence and quality.
Yeah. Somebody told me this the other day, but it was like Angel Studios just went public or something. Is that true? Or they just raised? I can't remember.
I don't know all the intricacies, but I think they did do a SPAC, I believe.
Okay. I'm gonna look it up right now. Angel Studio SPAC. Yeah, if somebody I was talking to mentioned that, and I was like, "Oh snap! I did not realize." But
Yeah.
they were like the first ever company to make an actual good Christian, movie
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever, right? Like,
Yeah.
because you'd look at like these cheap cheaply produced things, and
Yeah.
it sucked.
Well, Passion of the Christ was pretty good. Mark Burnett's done a great job with his Bible series on History Channel and other places. But I would say uh, in modern times, yes, Angel Studios has done a great job.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, they did go public via SPAC at a $1.6 billion valuation. They began trading on September 11th, actually.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah. I know for a long time they were doing crowdfunding, I believe.
Yeah, it says that they're still operating at a loss as of right now. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, usually most companies that raise money know they're going to operate at a loss for quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're front loading your costs for growth, right?
Right.
So maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know. I'm not in their board meetings.
Yeah, the other thing I was thinking about too was this dawned on me too, because you'll see a lot of people online criticize Christian influencers for monetizing Christianity,
Yeah.
right? And then you'll see people criticize pastors for making too much money. Then you'll see people like me who don't even have a Christian product, get criticized for monetizing Christianity because you're just talking about Christian things and people buy your, let's just say, non-Christian products.
Yeah.
And then I just started to think about all of it, and I was like, yeah, I mean, then you just literally can't win. It just doesn't it doesn't matter if you're the pastor, if you're selling, pray.com, or if
Yep.
you're the Christian influencer, you're the guy who doesn't even have a Christian product yet,
Yeah.
but talks Christianity, and, it's like,
If you're not getting criticized, you're not doing something big enough, right?
Yeah.
And everyone is going to criticize, especially if you're being successful at it.
well, I just thought about it too, and I go like, okay, if Angel Studios and pray.com are creating some of the best Christian content the world has ever seen,
Mhm.
you know, it's like, how do you attract the best talent? Well, you got to have money. I mean, you
Yep.
got to have resource. You got to, they went public to get more money,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
make more movies, to make more, and that's a good thing.
That's right. And it's like what I talked about before, right? Like you, if you do want to hire the best talent, you got to play market rates,
Right.
which means you also have to have the best product. And God calls us to use our God-given talent and skills. Like the work is mentioned so many times in the Bible,
Right.
right? And wouldn't you want to use your God-given talent and skills to your highest and best uses and reach your God-given potential? And you should be compensated for that,
Right.
right?
Yeah. And I think what you choose to do with your fair compensation is up to you,
That's right.
right? In terms of generosity. Because even when we look throughout the Bible, you see like the Levites are really the only ones like compensated for doing religious things in the Old Testament. But everyone else is out there making money, doing their thing, and then like,
Yeah,
you got to give, you got to, do whatever it takes.
that's right. I mean, even if you look at the parable of the talents, right?
Right.
It's just what are you going to do with what God has given you? And for me, at least, um, loved Homestack, loved doing that. My co-founder is now the CEO. He's doing an incredible job. His name's Will. But for me, I wanted something with a bigger purpose to help people
Yeah.
with their mental and spiritual health. And we saw this increasing suicide rate in the United States and this increasing mental health issue in the United States.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't stand by and watch that happen. And I wanted to make sure that
Make a
we
difference.
make a difference. That's
Yeah.
right. Make a dent in the world.
Yeah.
Good.
Even with the idea I was telling you guys about off camera, it would be like my first ever physical product. I'll just kind of leave it at that. And the only reason I like thought about it because it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is nobody creating this? This would crush it. And like Christians would love it.
Totally.
And it'll cast out the demonic of these other things that it competes with. And I'm just like, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, man, if I do this, and it's super, super successful, what happens next?
Yeah.
And
I mean, look, the Bible says don't call out the speck in your neighbor's eye, right? When you have
yeah,
a plank in yours. So it's like, who are we to judge?
right,
We should not be judging others, right?
right. Yeah. all right, I'm going to do it. And
I'm glad I convinced you.
yeah, I'm gonna do it. And then you know what? It's gonna be awesome.
Can't wait. I'll support it in any way you need help. I'm
Yeah.
sure you don't, but if you do,
No,
I
dude,
got you.
it would fit perfect with pray.com within the app as
Love it.
as a gift or as a cool thing. So I don't know, guys. I was on chat yesterday asking about it, and I was like, all right, how long is this gonna take? What's it gonna cost? And it's like, all right, you're gonna need like 100 G's to get, all your stuff squared away. And
Yeah.
then it'll take like probably 4 to 6 months to I'm like, okay. That puts me right in line at the next Kingdom Summit. Boom.
There we go.
Yeah,
You got a lot of great ideas.
I do have a lot of ideas. Um,
In fact, you gave us an idea that is now performing incredibly well.
yeah,
And so thanks for that brainstorming session. And we went and executed on it and developed out the strategy, and
yeah,
it's doing amazing. So thank you for that.
yeah. You said it already added another 7 figures to you guys'
It
business.
did. It did. Yeah. Within 6 months. Yeah.
There we go. Good
Yeah.
ideas. So,
Great ideas.
yeah, great ideas. So, speaking of that, right? You know, with you guys' business model, I mean, you're building for profit and for purpose, like you said. And so
Yeah.
you're constantly thinking, you're constantly balancing these two. You're like, okay, we got this good idea. Okay, Ryan has this great idea for us. How do you evaluate these great ideas now? Are you like, okay, how much do we think this could make? What's the profit margin? How feasible is it? And then you're like, okay, like what kind of good is this going to do for the user and for the pastors? And how do you evaluate that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to evaluate ideas, right? And we have an idea that we're working on right now that is probably going to be a loser in the very beginning, right?
Yeah,
But we know it's going to help people, and it's going to help people so much that we're building it out, and it'll be a winner over time. And so, like I said before, it's we is it going to be a win for the people using the app?
right.
Is it gonna be a win for the company, and is it gonna be a win for our pastor and ministry partners that we work with?
Yeah,
And so that's really like the way we evaluate ideas
mm,
is it gonna provide more value for people using the app? Is it gonna provide more value for the content creators? Is it gonna be provide more value for the organization so that we can grow and reach more people?
right.
Because, it when you just boil it and distill it down, uh, the greatest story ever told, the gospel, deserves the greatest tools ever built.
Right. I agree with that. I always say it at our tent maker events. I'm like, your businesses should be the best businesses in the world.
That's right.
Like for too long, the Christian mindset was like budget.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, we got to just do this on a budget and it should just be good enough. And
Yeah.
don't be extravagant. Don't spend. Don't. And it's like, bro, no. Like Jesus was like, give me the perfume,
That's
you
right.
know? Um,
Do it with excellence.
yeah, like do everything with excellence.
That's right. Because I mean, look, you are honoring God when you do things with excellence because he gave you the talents and the skills that you have. He helped you develop those over time. So when you do things with excellence, you are honoring God in your work.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I'm 100% in agreement on that. So, with you guys and everything that you guys are doing and planning, how are you guys seeing like the church shifting in the years to come? Because for the longest time, I mean, you guys are in the media space and content space of Christians. For the longest time, it was like televangelist,
Yeah.
and that was like the main source of spreading the gospel, at least digitally.
Yeah.
Radio, televangelism. And then, you see this rise of social media and apps and YouTube now and podcast and um even with what I'm doing at Tentmakers, I mean, we're just launching virtual and local Bible studies at scale
Yep.
without having to buy buildings and all this stuff that traditional church models have had to use for years.
Yeah.
Technologically, how do you see things starting to shift?
I would agree with you. We see that same shift happening of what you're talking about, less buying the bigger building, more intimate spaces. Also, from the data that we're looking at, traditional televangelism is declining rapidly.
Right.
Traditional radio is declining rapidly. People that are going to smaller 100-person churches is declining. We're seeing consolidation into some of these larger churches, but also Christian content consumption is way up,
Way up.
way up. So if you evaluated, like a lot of the big news sites like to do, is evaluate Christianity based on church attendance. I think that's a poor metric. It's not really a great way to do it. Like, app downloads of Christian apps are up 52% over the last 24 months.
Wow.
Bible sales are up like 30%. Um, but church attendance may be a little down. So really, we're seeing the same thing with movies. If you evaluate how good movies are based on theater attendance,
It's not great.
it's not great,
Yeah.
right? But if you look at streaming movies, it's way up. So I think things are just shifting. And actually, it's kind of funny. It's going backwards, right? Like, this is what we saw, in antiquity: more intimate spaces, more people meeting at home, more people doing Bible studies, less of the big, extravagant buildings. So we see that shift of lower cost, lower barrier to entry, AI, some of these other things, to build a group, a congregation, and then just smaller, more intimate spaces over time, even though there is consolidation in the church space right now.
Yeah. It's interesting because what you're saying is something I wasn't really setting out to do. But, when we started Tentmakers, it was just about, I just didn't feel like the churches were doing a very good job of having discipleship. It's like, come on a Sunday, we'll talk to you, and it's a good message, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And that's how most churches operate today, unfortunately. And
Well, good
yeah,
churches are good at evangelism. Good churches are good at discipleship. Great churches are great at both.
right.
And it's rare, to
It's
your
rare.
point.
And I would say there's more evangelistic focused churches than
Yeah.
there are discipleship focused.
Well, because it's hard, right?
Yeah.
You scale the church, you do evangelism great, you scale, and now you need to disciple
You don't
at
have enough people.
scale.
You need a lot of leaders.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
You
so it's
need
really hard.
you need physical,
Yep,
people to do it. It can't be one pastor talking to a massive congregation.
that's right.
That's way easier to scale.
That's right.
So, yeah, I mean, we started doing it out of necessity because the churches just haven't been doing it. And it's not like I set out to I'm busy running businesses.
Yeah,
Okay. But I just saw a need and we've been doing it. And now, we've had thousands of meetings of Bible studies locally and virtually and all this stuff. And as I'm scaling our model, I just see kind of the inefficiency of what you just mentioned of you're seeing less big buildings, less all this, because it's like, man, if we really just optimize for a Sunday service, which is what most churches do, um, you fill out one service and you have two and then you have three, and then eventually, you're packed and, I get it, like, it's awesome. We want that to happen. But then at the same time, it's like, oh, so now, we need another 20 million to scale again.
yeah,
But we never optimized what we already had. Like, we never got to doing discipleship and maximizing the current building.
yeah,
And for me anyways, I have a problem with it the more that I continue on in ministry and my own journey. Because even just from a financial stewardship perspective, it's like, dude, if we're going to spend all this money on this building, we got to use it
for one day a week.
for one day a week. Right. And, I'm seeing we're able to scale and reach the same amount of people on literally 5% of the budget,
Yeah.
doing it just a different way.
And Ryan, you have a ton of incredible ideas, but what are the things that maybe you intuitively or qualitatively saw that led you to that perspective to do that?
I mean, the two things I saw was number one, nobody had Bible studies. It was always a seasonal thing. Like, hey, we're going to do Bible study for 6 weeks, and we do that twice a year.
Mm.
And I go, that's not right. Like,
Yeah.
discipleship's a lifelong thing. It's not a seasonal endeavor.
Yeah.
We're literally the number one commandment is go and make disciples of all nations.
Yep.
So if you're not actively making disciples, you are not doing what Jesus commanded.
Right.
So I saw that as a problem. And it never occurred to me that I've been doing it in my office for 8 years now, every week. It doesn't stop. And it didn't occur to me that that was weird
Yeah.
because it just occurred to me that that was what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then the other second thing was just it happened by luck or divine appointment by provision. Um, but you know, God was just like, okay, you created a model, now just teach other people to run the model.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, well, let's just develop leaders and let's give them curriculum and let's teach them how to do this and they can start it in their own cities and everything else and fill the need if their church isn't doing it. And that's just literally all it's been.
Well, it's incredible. What would you say to people? I'm sure there's a ton of people listening that some are Christians, some are not, right? But the ones that are in their own workplaces, what would you say to them to help them get the courage to maybe do a Bible study with people they work with?
Yeah, I think it comes down to I always tell the new leaders this. You only need like 2 people
Mhm.
because as long as you get 2 people, you got 3 of you. And then you expect the other 2 to start just inviting 1 person.
Yeah.
And now you got 6. And then, those people invite 1 and now you're at 9. And it can grow very fast. It's not like you need to go get 20 people
Yeah.
right this second. Like it's also the responsibility of these people to invite others. But actually I forgot this point of it too. What really actually happened as well was um when I started doing worship and having pastors come to my just normal regular events, um, we would do an altar call. And a lot of these people would be from all over the country. And they'd be like, they give their life to Jesus. And they're like, now what?
Yeah.
And I was like, go to a church, get a Bible.
Yep.
And they're like, what church? Where do I start in the Bible? I forget.
What version of the Bible?
Yeah, like they literally just gave their life to Christ. They don't know anything.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, how do we solve this? And so the Bible part's easy. I'm
Yeah.
like, we'll give you a Bible. So now we just give them a Bible. And then in it is like a how to. I'm like, start in Matthew, read away all the way through all the stuff. But it still doesn't solve the local church problem because I don't know where to send all these people. And then finally with Tentmakers, I was like, okay, now it's very simple. I don't care where you came from. Your next step is jump on an onboarding call and we're going to place you in a Bible study.
Love it.
And we got them going all over the world, all this stuff, virtually or locally. So you pick one. And then if you pick a local one, you already got people who are attending church. And so they're going to tell you where to go.
Yeah.
And so it solves like all of the problems.
I love that. Do you tell people that they need to pray? Because the Bible also calls us to pray without
Yeah.
ceasing, right?
Right. So I think like I could tell them, hey, do 5 things.
Yeah.
And it's like overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, I take it one step at a time. So we're like, hey,
Makes sense.
here's a Bible, start reading in Matthew, right? And then jump on this onboarding call. That's it. Just there's 2 things we want you to do. And then on the onboarding call, we'll tell them the next steps. Hey, okay, so let's get you plugged into a Bible study. You already got your Bible, right?
Yeah.
So now you join a Bible study. And then in the Bible study, throughout the curriculums and everything, that's when we teach them the basics of Christianity. It's like, oh, this is how I pray. Oh, this is, what sanctification is. This is what this is. Like, they inevitably learn the next steps. Versus I could be like, the moment they get saved. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Pray every day, read 2 chapters a day, join a Bible study, get plugged in a local church.
Yeah.
Like, it's overwhelming.
That makes sense. And that's why I think we just figured out a partnership right now, though. Because
that's true. I should get them on pray.com.
You should give them pray.com because we have all of the incredible content to help with digital discipleship.
Yeah, so I think what would be good is now that we're just talking about this, we should just include it in our onboarding call.
Yeah.
Hey, now that you're in a Bible study, we're partnered with Pray. They're awesome.
Yep.
They got content. They can help you read the Bible better, pray better. Here you go.
And then whenever they have 15 minutes in their day or they want to, read a Bible verse, get a devotional, or, hear a Bible story come to life in an entertaining way. Maybe they don't want to read it. They want to listen to it.
Right.
They can do it all on pray.com.
They can have the most dramatic voices
That's right.
in the world read it to them.
That's right.
Do you have Morgan Freeman yet?
Oh, not yet. We're working on it. But we do have Darth Vader reading Revelations, which is fun. So James Earl Jones, one of the best voices of our lifetime.
What's he reading?
We have him on the entire Bible, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you like use AI or did he read the whole thing?
No, it's actually his voice. He actually read it. Yeah. It's
So he
incredible.
read the whole Bible.
Yeah. Depending on your generation, it's either Mufasa reading the Bible or Darth Vader. So,
Dude, how long did that take for him to
you know,
audio the whole Bible?
I don't know exactly how long it took him to do it, um, because he's an incredible voice actor, right?
Right.
But I would say that it took probably more than 48 continuous hours of recording. So,
That's crazy,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. We actually just had a pastor record 365 daily devotionals as audio. And I was actually just at his church on Sunday. Pastor Jack Graham, he just surpassed 100 million downloads of his podcast that we helped build for him. And yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a
Yeah.
lot of work to do 365 15-minute devotionals. So, and get them perfect, right? So,
Dang, 15 minutes too?
yeah, yeah,
That's crazy.
it's
That
a
is
lot.
so much work. But I guess that's the price to just get all your media done for the year and just
That's right.
you don't got to worry about it again.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm not used to that because we just film every week. And so,
Yeah,
like, it's just, I do film that much, but just not in one session.
yeah. You've got an incredible system down
Yeah.
and a schedule.
So, I mean, for you at this point, obviously you've built a couple of tech companies that have been very successful and, you're still actively doing them. Like, what's your role at this point? Like, what do you do on a daily basis?
Yeah, I get to do what I love the most, which is develop incredible partnerships, and just like we did right now, actually. But yeah, I love developing incredible partnerships with different denominations, different pastors, different leaders, and so I love doing that. I've actually been on the road the last 16 days working on partnerships, and so that for me is the most fun.
Yeah, you were telling me you did some crazy stuff the last 16 days.
Yeah, I was at actually we're going to be announcing soon. It's going to start in January. We're working on something with the government called America Prays. We publicly announced the initiative at the Religious Liberty Committee meeting with the president and Secretary Scott Turner. And we're going to be helping to get 1 million people praying a week
Wow.
for the next 250 years of America.
250 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a crazy plan.
It is. It is. And so we want to get 1 million people praying a week. It's something that we're really excited about. Prayer changes things. And we're actually proving it with our Pray Science division. We've done 3 clinical trials on the efficacy of prayer and your mental health. And it's incredible to see the reduction in mental health symptoms when you pray. And you only need to do it like 1 to 2 minutes a day. Think about and pray and have a personal relationship with Jesus just a couple minutes a day. And you see a reduction in anxiety, a reduction in depression, a reduction in hopelessness, and some of these other things. And so I think we're going to have a massive effect on the entire country if we get 1 million people to pray a week.
How did that deal even come about?
It was an initiative that the White House thought of as a part of the celebration of the 250th birthday of the United States. And they thought that we should bring prayer back in our country. And I agreed with them on that, being maybe being biased on prayer. But yeah, I think they saw that we need to bring prayer back, and I think a lot of that also happened with current events that are happening in the United States as well. But um, yeah, prayer is going to change things. Prayer can change the United States and can help people with their mental and spiritual health.
Yeah, talk about that. I mean, the name is pray.com. And we've been talking kind of about like the content and the business and all this stuff, but
Yeah,
we haven't talked a bunch about prayer.
that's right.
So obviously you guys have guided prayers that,
Yeah.
people go through? Like, what? Give me an example of how that works.
Yeah, we have a daily prayer. And so, the idea is to remind people to pray every day. And it's on the honor system, right? But we have a streak functionality in the app
Yeah,
where you can track if you prayed every single day.
it's better
And
than Duolingo.
yes, better than Duolingo.
Yeah,
Um, you know, did I learn Spanish today,
yeah. I
right?
had a Duolingo streak for like a year, and it did not change my life.
What language were you trying to learn?
Spanish.
Spanish. Got it.
Yeah,
Got
it just whatever. But
it.
I can tell you if I prayed for a year straight, which I did, but
Yeah.
if somebody had to choose between learning Spanish and
Yeah.
praying every day, I think one's going to have significantly more impact.
Small things like that, praying for 1 to 2 minutes a day, they're hard.
Yeah.
And it's hard because it's easy to do, but it's also easy not to do.
Right.
And so you go, "Oh, I'll do it Monday,"
Yeah.
or "I'll do it next Monday," right? And so just encouraging people to develop that healthy habit of prayer every single day, 1 to 2 minutes, is what the core functionality of the app does, right? It's that little nudge, that
Hey,
little
it's like, did you pray
reminder to
today?
pray.
Your
Did
streak's
you
going to
pray
end.
today? That's right. Exactly. Exactly. And now we have the widgets where you can get the prayer and Bible verse right on your home screen. You don't even have to open the app if you don't want to.
Mm,
You can just add the widget to your home screen and see a Bible verse every time you open your phone. So it's really cool what our engineering team and product team have been able to come up with this nudge and gamification of reminding people to pray every day.
right.
And it's different. Like it's different times for everybody, but on the majority, people wake up and they pray before they start their day. And that's
Right.
what I would recommend.
So with that, scientifically, you said you had a prayer science division. Like, how did that start and what have you seen?
Yeah, it was an interesting thing that us four co-founders decided to put together. We want to prove that prayer affects your physical body. Now, as Christians, we kind of intuitively know that, right?
Yeah.
If you connect with your creator who created you and your physical body, would you not think that that would have an effect on your physical body, right? The answer is yes, if you're a Christian. But if you're a scientist, a research scientist, the answer is, well, let's find out, right? And let's test it. And so we've got a cross-functional study, we've got a couple other clinical trials that we've done that have been published in legitimate scientific journals on the efficacy of prayer in your mental health and those mental health outcomes and the reduction in mental health symptoms.
Mm,
And it's been super interesting. And again, it's not we're not telling people they need to pray on their knees for an hour every day to get results. It's really about frequency. And so if you just pray every day, 1 to 2 minutes, you are going to receive that reduction in mental health symptoms. And it's because you're connecting with your creator. It's because God created you and it does have an effect on your physical body and your brain.
yeah. And I can just tell you subjectively, like I've been praying for a really long time. Um, but I've in recent years started to do some different things in prayer that have really made a difference. Um, one is every night now I pray with my entire family. Um,
Very cool.
so I don't know if you have that functionality, but maybe you create like double points when you pray with others. Um, because I mean, the Bible says where two or more are gathered,
He
like
is
there's
there.
more power,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so you see it tons of times throughout the Bible where it's like, hey, if someone's sick, bring multiple people to pray over this person,
Yeah.
right? So I think like adding that kind of functionality would be cool. But also, like, even just for myself, I created an app not for anybody else but myself, really. But anyone can go get it. It's called the Wealthy Way app. And part of it is there's these 3 habit trackers. And so every day I open up the app, I journal, do my stuff, look at my goals, but then I check whether I did the habits yesterday.
Hmm.
And so one of the habits that I've been checking off is pray with the entire family.
Wow.
And so what we do is we pray before I put the kids to bed. So, now I got 4 kids. And so we gather everybody, and it's never like, it's not like the best prayer trying to gather 4 kids under 6, and I'm just like, guys, listen up. Okay.
Herding cats.
Yeah. We're going to pray real quick. Put your hands together. And then they all, even like my littlest, he's like, and then,
Yeah.
we'll pray for like 30 seconds. After that, they just start zoning out. So, we do it and it's just been great. And then, the next morning I just remember, I'm like, okay, did I actually pray with the family? Okay, I did.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's been really cool. And then the second thing is just in the last year, I have personally prayed over people and have seen multiple healings,
Yeah.
backs and cancer and just so many different things, mental anxiety, depression, like the mental health issues you're talking about, but also real physical, verified, like miraculous things.
Yeah.
And so I think people just don't understand truly the power of prayer because they themselves probably don't take it super serious.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they also just have never seen it like work in that kind of miraculous way.
Yeah.
But, the Bible does tell us that, prayer and faith, the more faith you have, the more you can do.
Yeah.
And so I think like for anybody who's trying to develop faith, prayer is one of the ways that it starts.
Yeah, I agree. And prayer just affected me in my life recently.
What happened?
I mean, my wife and I have been praying for the last 3 years every day to be able to get pregnant.
Mm.
And I was on the road for 16 days and I flew back on Friday and my wife's pregnant.
Oh, praise
And
God.
we're excited. Yeah. And
Let's
so,
go. How many is that going to be for you?
well, first
ever.
First ever.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
So really excited about it. But, we prayed every single day and we had faith. My wife was like, what if it doesn't happen? What if this, it's okay. I'm adopted. We'll adopt. We'll do IVF, whatever
We're
it
going to have
is.
kids one way or the other.
Yeah, it's okay. But we have faith. And God works in mysterious ways. We found out that we were pregnant 2 days before we were going to start IVF.
Wow.
And we had it on the books. We had it all scheduled out, ready to go.
Wow.
And I think if more people experienced miraculous things by being faithful and praying every day, it would change the world.
You could tell her that at least she didn't have to wait like Sarah.
Yeah.
She could have been 90.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
3 years isn't so bad.
Yeah, 3 years, no big deal compared to Sarah.
So
that's a Bible story reference.
yeah, go on pray.com. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go to Genesis.
That's right.
Go to about chapter probably 10. That's right around there.
You can just search the story of Sarah and find it.
There you go. That's easier. So with that, what did the doctor say about why you couldn't get pregnant? What were their feelings?
They said nothing was wrong. They said there's no reason why you shouldn't. But it just didn't happen for some reason or another.
Right.
So there was nothing big wrong. But it just didn't work out. And we just stayed faithful and prayed every day. And thank God he blessed us. So
yeah, it just seems so weird that it seems like a more recent thing that perfectly healthy people are having so much trouble getting pregnant.
yeah, I've anecdotally I've seen the same thing across a lot of friends of mine as well.
Right.
Friend of mine, 5 years, another friend, 10 years until they got pregnant. And
Yeah.
so I don't know if it's environmental or, if it's some of the things that we're taking that are causing that.
Yeah.
But
Food, environment,
Yeah.
demonic.
yeah,
I mean, there's a
Spiritual.
lot of reasons. Yeah.
yeah. But birth rates are declining, right? I mean, didn't Joe Rogan and Elon Musk discuss this
Yeah.
recently?
I also wonder how much of it has to do with people starting later. Like, I would imagine you're way more fertile young.
Yeah, I would agree with that. People are starting later. I mean, my wife and I got married 3 years ago, and we started late. I'm 39, and I won't reveal my wife's age so that I don't get yelled at when I get home.
Right.
But we both started later in life, and
Yeah.
That probably has something to do with it as well.
Right. Yeah. We've been very blessed in that. I think my wife was 25 when we first got pregnant, so
Mm.
she was still young. Um, but yeah, I mean, God's been good. Like, it's funny, even I started taking TRT a couple of years ago,
Hmm.
and they say that like that's a form of like birth control. That's what they
Really?
say.
Wow.
They're like, yeah, if you're on TRT, you can't have like it hurts your fertility. It's not like birth control, but that's
Yeah.
like a side effect of it.
Yeah.
I was like, well, let's find out.
Yeah.
And we keep cranking them. So it's okay. So anybody who's heard that, I don't know, like
Yeah.
it's been good for us.
My wife and I did like 90 days ago decide to get into really good shape. So I've lost like 45 pounds.
Wow.
I've been working out. I've been cold
You
plunging.
definitely look skinnier from even when we golf. What was that? Month or two ago?
Yeah. I think it was a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've lost a lot of weight, but just trying to get into really good shape, be prepared. That was one thing that the doctor mentioned to us. Just eat healthy, get in good shape.
Yeah,
And
it's probably a factor of all these things. Age, health, the government putting random crap in our food.
yeah,
Like
water.
vaccines. It's literally just everything.
Yeah. It's probably a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So, what do you see as the biggest thing that you guys are solving right now with the business? What is the biggest, would you say is the number one? Because I told you, like, for us, the area that I know that we're solving at Tentmakers is discipleship.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think people are doing a good job at it.
Yeah, I would say the number one thing that we're solving is one, reminding people to pray. Like that is something that we're solving.
It's so forgetful.
It really is. Like I said, it's easy to do. It's easy not to do.
Right.
Right. But number two, it's we are making learning the Bible extremely fun and entertaining to be able to do,
Right.
especially for people who are brand new believers. Now, we have an incredible amount of content for people who are already believers who want to dive deeper, but people out there who are seeking and they want to try before they step foot in a church, they'll download pray.com and check out Bible stories, our prayers, Christian meditation, a lot of the things that we have to get excited to then go want to try a church because it's kind of scary,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And I didn't know how scary it was
Because you just
because
grew up in it.
I grew up in it, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I've had friends where they've never been to church. I'm like,
I mean, I can tell you, even for me, I grew up in it, but when every time I've gone to a new church, you're just like, this is,
yeah,
I don't know anybody,
is the pastor going to call me up from stage
Yeah,
and while I'm sitting there
Yeah.
and I don't know a Bible verse or the worship song or,
Yeah. I know nothing, like what's going on. You don't
Yeah.
even know what to expect.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so at least it gives people a starting point, right?
Yeah.
On their journey.
What about, with everything that you guys are doing, the future? I mean, I look at like chat and, chat's interesting because I've been using it a lot as a Bible study tool,
Yeah.
and it's really helping me see, church history
Mhm.
and other stuff like that. Are you integrating AI into like Bible study tools or anything?
Yeah, actually, we're implementing AI in a big way, and it's not necessarily to help with church history and learning, church history, which is great. Nothing
Yeah.
against that, but really, what we're implementing AI to do is there is a massive mental health crisis in the United States. There's not enough counselors, coaches, therapists to help people with mental health, and
Yeah.
so we built something we call AI Counselor inside of Pray.com that
Oh,
helps people with mental health and provides content suggestions, content plans,
got it.
and helps people using artificial intelligence. And we use a lot of different models baked in. We have a great partnership with Palantir as well that just helps recommend Bible content, talk to people, and be a first touch response,
Yeah.
right? Because not everybody needs to talk to a therapist right away,
Right.
right? There's a lot of things that we can do, like praying every day, that can help us with mental health before it becomes
For
a
sure.
clinical issue,
Yeah.
right? And so that's really what we're trying to do is help people in that first touch response.
Yeah, it's funny. I'd have all these psychologists and different people on my show, and they'd be talking about like all these reasons why people feel this way and all this crap. And in my mind, I'm just so simple minded. I'm like, bro, well, if you would just pray and read your Bible, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I'm like, that's why your life sucks.
Yeah.
I don't need to hear about why it sucks now. Like, I know why it sucks. You didn't do the proper
Right.
preventative things
Right.
that wouldn't have got you. Like, I get that your brain is jacked,
Yeah.
but let's talk about how, not only can it restore, but
Yeah.
also like how to keep it good.
That's right.
Because that's the thing, right? You could go on a great streak of praying, but the moment you stop praying, like
Yeah.
you're going to start to go back into your old ways.
Yeah. It's the same thing with working out, right?
Right? Yeah. You lost 40 pounds, but if you stop doing what you're doing,
It's going to come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, like it also is a huge help for veterans too. Veterans have a 3,000% higher proclivity to mental health symptoms,
Right.
mental health
They've been through
issues.
so much.
Yeah. And by the way, it doesn't just affect them, it affects their family
Right.
and the people around them, right? Who have to help them too. And so we're really have a big heart for our veterans as
Yeah.
well, and helping our military with mental health symptoms and being that first touch response. So
No, I love it. So for anybody who wants to get it, I mean, obviously the App Store, just search
Yeah.
pray.com.
yeah. You know what? Just for people listening in today,
Yeah.
if you go to pray.com/Matt, M-A-T-T,
Yeah.
you'll get the entire app for free for a year.
Oh,
You don't even have to put in a credit card. Just your email address helps you lock your account. You'll get the entire app for free for a year. So if you
so
go
no ads.
no ads for a year. If you go to pray.com/Matt, M-A-T-T, you get the
Dang,
whole app for free for a year.
I'd tell you to make them put their credit card, but that's generous of you.
Maybe that's what we talk about in our next golf outing, but I'm just super generous.
Yeah, I love it.
I want to help people all over the world.
I
So,
love it.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, guys, /Matt. We'll link to that down below. That's super awesome, man. I appreciate you, dude.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for having me on. It's exciting.
Yeah. So guys, go check that out. Pray.com/Matt and go start praying more. It's
Yeah.
very simple. Go get reminded. It starts with accountability. So we will catch you on the next episode. Peace.